Starlight, won't you give me the thing? Won't you tell me the game on Starlight? Starlight, won't you give me the thing?
Hello viewers and welcome to the F-2 video, a video about a new plane that is both really good and really fun, so I'm pleased about that. Now today I'll be showing you the matchups, so you know what more is there to say, so let's get into it. Whoa-hey! So let's start with Mirage 2000 because it's quick and simple. It's not a very good plane, the Mirage, but a lot of people say it is, so I'll put it in the video for that reason. Second turn already and we've got humongous advantage on him. Had I played a better line I probably could have killed him there, but it's no worry, because just the next turn, beautiful counter-attack. There you go. And there goes Ibby. And here's the second round where I do manage to kill him in 2 turns. And you'll notice that despite the fact he's got Michaels, they don't do anything. So, a quick few rounds on the flanker here, and in this one I turn in front of him at a fairly high speed, and I do lose a bit of position, but I know that this plane is really capable at cashing in speed for turn, and also just holding a speed and turning really well at that speed, so I'm not worried. And you'll see we've already roped in a tremendous amount of position in this turn, and if he goes for an R73 on the button, and then you can see it just doesn't get him anywhere. So here is a more rate style fight against the flanker, and one of the things the flanker actually does alright, to get us a lot of ribbing for being bad, but it actually has fairly decent rate all things considered. But that's against most normal planes. Now the F-2 is really good at rate, it's only beaten by the Eurofighter and the Rafale in terms of sustained rate. So you'll see here that in very few turns, and you can't see much because we're blacked out most of the time, but you can see we're gaining humongous position on this flanker. And, you know, we gain position and we gain advantage in energy. He can stay faster than us, but he'll lose too much position. And he can go slower than us, but he'll lose too much speed. To the point where in just a few turns, as you can see, we already have our shot. And there he goes. Flanker has no answer for F-2. And now here it's SU-30, and since he can't rate for the life of him, he has to play for an R73 shot in vectoring, but we can just keep a little speed, wait a little bit, put a little bit of lag, and we'll come in for a really good head-on, really free head-on. R73 you flare it, and then he can't aim, so you hold it down. Alternatively, you can wait another turn to make it even more likely you win. And now on to much better planes. So I've put the little sense of view thing in the corner here, because this is a rate fight between the Block 10 and the F-2, which are very easy to compare, owing to the fact they are both F-16 based. And what you'll notice is that we gain a lot, and I do mean a lot of position early if we bleed speed, but we don't, I keep speed. And you'll see that here I'm 200 kbh faster than Ibby, for basically equal position. And I am rating harder than him at this point. So as time goes on, we will just bring it round, and he can only last so many turns. Got the sense of view up partially because we're blacked out the whole time, but that's no worry, because blacking out allows you to ease the rate and not lose too much speed. At this point I've gained tremendous position, and I can attack at pretty much any point here. The longer you wait, the safer the attack is. Here Ibby sees me go for that pull, so he bleeds a lot of speed to get out of the way. Instead of going for it here, I wait a turn. Ibby sees that he has to react, so he goes for this, but I just have enough speed to turn in and shoot him down. I miss it all there, doesn't matter, we have huge position, and we can just take him out here. Bang! Another round against the Block 10 then, this time a bit more aggressive, just to show that the F-2 also wins there. You can see first turn we've got big position, puts me in a huge spot to go second turn, Ibby throttle drops me. I would overshoot if I kept the line, so I pull a bit of lag, I go down. Here he goes for a counter-attack, again I can't pull straight in, so a bit more lag. And then here I can point it straight up and go for a beautiful counter-attack. And there it goes, and there's really no difficulty in doing that in the F2. Last little bit about F2 versus 16A here, and this is going to be a bit of a stall fight. So in the F2, you naturally will have a stall fight entrance that's better than the F16s because you've got more position elsewhere, more rate, but you do have, and this is your one disadvantage, a slightly worse thrust to weight at these really low speeds. So you'll be the first to run out of speed, you can play less with throttle dropping, and you're, in general, just going to be the first to stall out. So here you can see I've got below him, right, but I'm going really slowly, and despite my best efforts, you know, maybe this is hittable, but still I miss here, and I'm just going super duper slowly, and I can't pitch up again. And you'll see that Ibby now has a completely free shot on me. So the point here is that if by some misplay you end up in a stall, you will end up being the first one to lose speed, so be wary of that. Now onto a plane we don't beat, and that's the Ralph. As most of you will know, the Ralph is currently the best plane in the game in terms of flight model. And you'll see that here, there's very little we can do. I try and keep close for this entrance to a stall fight, but Spilly's able to pull lag, just go right underneath me. And my choice here is either to try and stick lag, which I'll end up losing, or to go for the stall. But here I have to pull way out of his nose because he's on button, and in doing so, I've ended up completely dead, flapping about with 0 speed, and that is unfortunately how it goes against the Ralph. There is completely nothing you can do in aggro positions. So here's a rate position. I've sped it up a bit by 1.6 or so, just to get it through quickly, but you remember the Block 10 round we had in rate, where I was just ripping him in no matter what. And that is pretty much what the Ralph does to the F2. You're going to see here that while we're mostly blacked out, we are losing a lot of position, if you can see it through the blackout. And in just a few turns, even though we're still going fairly fast, at nearly 800, which has a good rate, it's still nothing. It holds no candle to that of the Ralph, which just shows how crazy it is at this moment in time. So you do nothing in a fight better than the Ralph, and you lose at everything. On to Euro Canard numero dos then, with the Eurofighter. And I'm not going to show you a rate fight here, because the Euro actually has a higher sustained rate than that of the Ralph, so it's pointless to show as we know we already lose handily to the Ralph. Instead here I've got a couple stall fight entries for you, because that's really the only other style of gameplay that you can hope to go for. So Spilly's able to cut in below me and has a much better stall entrance. I can either pull lag and go for loops and rate, which I know I lose, so I go for the stall fight. But as you can see, he's got a really tight radius and really great thrust, so he's able to pull in for that. And now I just have completely no control, and I'm flopping about in the sky. Any shot I get here is luck. And while we were filming this, the gun damage was a bit broken, so you can see I've taken little damage. But I do end up losing that round after flying around, so there you go. And now a second entrance to a stall here. And you're going to see it's very much the same thing. He always has a better entrance to the stall, and I can't force him to overshoot because his radius is too small, and when I drop throttle, I go to stall out. And that's really how it is. You're quite defenceless against these planes. I hop on the gun here to try and move the plane around, but it's too heavy, and I miss, and it's lost anyway at this point, so I J out. And for our final Euro Canard, we've got the Gripen. Now this is a matchup the F2 wins, but it is very hard to do so. You'll see the Gripen has a lot on your first turn, and the way you win this matchup in F2 is by barely staying out of the Gripen's nose as it uses all its speed in the first few turns, because its negative set lines are very, very strong, and it gains a lot of position. You see Ibby nearly gets me there, and I've used a lot of my speed to avoid that. But then finally, once we get down to this lower speed, you have much better time generating energy, and you turn a little better at these super low speeds, so you can then turn that into a victory. But the key part of this matchup is trying to get through those first few turns, which is very hard, and I don't suspect that people are going to be able to do this without a good grasp on passive lines and on neg G. The margin for error of that is fairly small though, and as you can see here, if you leave just the right amount of space for him in the first turn, it'd make it a very easy opportunity for the Gripen to counterattack, which you can either run away from and reset the fight, or take the head on. And that's what happens if you get that wrong. Okay, now to show you why you have to play like that against the Gripen, because otherwise you have to play aggressive against it, and let me tell you, that is not a good idea, because just like every other Euro Canard, it's got fairly good thrust to weight. It's the worst of the three, but it's still better than yours. But more importantly, it's got that button and very small radius and very good control. So as you can see here, into the stall. I'm nowhere close to shooting at him, and I'm already completely out of speed and he is still behind me, so Ibby needs only wait for me to completely stall out here, as I'm going super slow. And then he just gets to plop it down right on top for the freest shot in his entire life. So you do beat the Gripen, but you have to do it in a very specific way. And for the last plane in the video, a bit of J-10A, thought I'd throw it in there for a laugh, and when playing the F2 you can treat the J-10 as a, for all intents and purposes, slightly worse Gripen. It's a little bit better in stall fights, but that doesn't matter because you lose those anyways. So we just play for passive again, and as you can see it's not nearly as close as the Gripen, he doesn't even get anywhere near a shot. But this is the best way to play it, safest way, so you end up winning. At this point he goes up, and I can see that I've got enough room to maybe go for a shot, but failing that, definitely get a very good counter-attack. He plays a very passive line to try and dodge the shot, but it doesn't matter because at this point we have way too much position for that. So we bring it round for what is a very free shot. And F2 is convincingly better than J-10A. Which is to be expected, of course. Ibby tries to get a PL5, but it's nowhere close. So, some closing thoughts then on the F2 matchups. It's a very good plane. It beats pretty much everything in the game except for those two outliers, the Euro and the Ralph, both of those being really, really far ahead of everything else. It beats the Gripen, which is a nice surprise. Obviously you have to play in that very specific manner, but if you do that, the Gripen does not have a chance against you, which is very nice. And other than that, it's a very nice plane to fly. So despite that low thrust to weight, you know, it's not great for stall fights, which is a shame because I do like those, but it's still very fun to play. Now, in regards to the video format, you may have noticed that a few planes were missing. I didn't show any F-15s, I didn't show F-18, 16C, so on and so forth, and the reason for that is we showed Block 10 and Euro canards. You know, we beat the Gripen, we beat the Block 10. There's no need to show the F-15 and the F-18 and those things, because we know that we beat them, so those aren't in the video, just to cut down on time, and in the future it will be expected that you have a bit more of a clue when it comes to knowing which matchups are there, so I don't need to display them in the video. But other than that, thank you for watching very much. Join the Discord, take a look at the website. There's a fan-made website now. I believe it's willy-walra.us or something like that. It's got some stuff on it, it's got links to videos and some comments on matchups and things and like that. But overall, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!